You are tuned in to What Up Baltimore online radio. Please note that the views and opinions expressed on this channel are of the host and not of Lady J Media. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, What Up Baltimore TV. And if you really don't want to miss any of the shows, hit that notification bell and you'll get a message every time we come on. Now, we got it from here, so sit back, relax, and stay tuned.
The Baltimore and Maryland Amazon Workers for Justice, and also United Seniors and the Matthew Henson Community Association, and many others.
How y'all doing?
Demanding justice for George Floyd, for Breonna Taylor, for everybody killed, murdered by racist police.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the People's Power Hour, sponsored by the People's Power Assembly and the Prisoner Solidarity Committee. You can follow us on Facebook, People's Power Assembly, or sign up on our webpage, peoplespowerassembly.org. It is important to talk, but it's more important to act. Good evening, everybody. I'm here with Sharon Black, Van Green, and Mr. Lee Patterson, and we are going to talk this evening. I hope that's Doc Cheatham coming in. We're going to talk about our upcoming rally and protest on April 3rd in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King. What would Dr. King be saying about what's going on in the world today? They are cutting back food stamps. They're cutting everything, that would allow people to live an abundant life. I mean, there are going to be people out here who are going to be starving because they are cutting food stamps. We're going to talk about that. But what we're also going to talk about, if it's okay with Ms. Sharon, is the fact that folks are still being afflicted with COVID, and the White House is saying COVID's over May 11th. I think that's what they said. Like, there are going to be no more emergency funds, nothing related to COVID on May the 11th. So if people want to apply for programs, I think they should go ahead and apply for them now. So let's go ahead and start this conversation. Once again, April 3rd. Ms. Sharon, can you give the time for April 3rd and where we are meeting?
Sure. It's May 3rd, as you said, on Monday at 5 p.m. in front of City Hall, which is 100 Holiday Street, Baltimore, Maryland, 21201. So that's where we'll be at. And we'll be speaking out around the question of food stamps. That is reinstating the food stamps that people lost, but also expanding people's ability to collect food stamps. Because, rollback prices, all the issues, food deserts, etc. But that's Monday the 3rd.
Absolutely. And although Ms. Sharon said May, she means...
I apologize.
It's
April.
okay. It's okay. April 3rd. Yeah, that is, I'm not sure the day of the week, but it's April 3rd, and we're going to be rallying. We're going to be meeting, gathering at City Hall. We were talking about this the other day. If you have, an interest, and I'm sure you do, because everybody's family, is affected by this. My family, your family, everybody's family is affected. And I think we need to show some solidarity. In fact, we do. We really do. We need to show some solidarity and unity for each other, because they're cutting everything. And as far as seniors and kids are concerned, they really, really need these benefits. Now, Mr. Lee, I'm going to let you, no, I'm not, because you're a man. And I'm going to start with Miss Van, and then I'm going to go to Miss Sharon, and then I'm going to come back to you. You know, power to these ladies up here. It's still Women's Month. So go ahead, Miss Van. Absolutely. Absolutely. Go ahead and talk about, you know,
I just want to let my friends know it's going to be Monday, April the 3rd at 5 p.m. In front of Holiday Street, 100 North Holiday Street at 5 p.m. for the food. And so
come on out, y'all.
Yes. How important that it is, because we all need this. And Reverend Annie and the PPA and us on this platform cannot do this alone. We just can't do this by ourselves for speaking out for everyone. We can speak on it to bring it to the light and awareness of how important it is, because we need to eat, especially the elderly and children and people that are sick and people that need their diet and their nutrition. I just want to for everyone to come out there.
Turn your phone the other way. There you go. There you go. And we can see you good and clear. Yep, we can see you. Yep.
My phone keeps triggering it up. The camera's triggering it off. Okay. I just wanted to let everyone know how important that it is, that we need to come out to speak about the governor taking out, the president, the governor, whomever responsible for taking out food stamps, food that we need to eat, food from our children. This is important. If we don't speak on it or speak out on it, it's going to continue.
Absolutely, it is.
Like me, myself. I don't know how they expect for me to feed the family off.
So they've cut your benefits already. So now, does anybody, I don't get why they're giving people $29 in food stamps. Nobody was getting that amount even prior to COVID. So I'm hearing that they're telling people, if somebody told you that you're going to get $21, $14, $11, $9 is the lowest amount that I heard, which is utterly ridiculous. Why would you give me an independence card with $9 worth of food stamps? What am I going to buy? So I hear they're telling folks, did they ask you to do a reconsideration, Miss Van?
Yeah. Yes, mine is tomorrow, actually.
Yours is tomorrow. Okay. So I think you're probably going to get more, you know, once you go there.
No.
You don't think so?
No, they're not giving more. They're just, it's the recon, it's to talk about why they're cut, why, if it's 2 people in the home that receive food stamps, a bunch of nonsense. And I'll do the phone interview tomorrow. They say it's no need to come in, it's just going to be over the phone.
Wow.
So I gotta do that.
A phone interview, and you know what? Everybody can wear a mask. Like they're probably not gonna see you if you just show up. I was gonna say just show up, but they're probably not gonna see you. Yeah, they're probably.
Well, I went there today. I went today.
And so what did they say?
Come back tomorrow. I mean, they're going to do a phone interview tomorrow. They can't do anything, and they still doing restrictions on COVID.
They are, and why? Okay, so now Mr. Kenroy Walker said hi. Hi, you all. God bless. God bless. Thank you, Mr. Walker. We're getting some. Yes. Okay, so it stopped. So, Miss Sharon, do you know why you know, they're giving people these small amounts of food stamps? Are you like, what are people saying? You know?
Well, what it's based on really is that during the COVID period, people got an extra allotment because of quote unquote the emergency. And now, as you said earlier, all the COVID relief is being taken back. And so people's food stamps was already too low before COVID.
Right.
And so once people got the emergency allotment, so really it's like what Ms. Van is talking about in terms of recon is just that every 6 months, what have you, they do a reconsideration, meaning they look at what you make and that kind of thing, and then they redetermine. But it's really the same amount. That, you know, what Ms. Vance is saying is true, is that people, especially seniors, are being cut back to sometimes $24 a month. It's why we're demanding that they lower the requirements and to extend food stamp programs, especially for seniors and low-wage workers, and also that they restore that emergency allotment for food stamps, really to address the inflationary crisis, which,
True.
there was supposed to be some cost of living increase, but that is not making a dent in the real problem of rolling back food prices in terms of the high prices right now. Which, by the way, for people who aren't on food stamps or what's called SNAP, it's really important to be out there anyhow, because we're demanding that they roll back food prices literally. And they can do that. And there's been times historically where the president has used the executive power to really freeze prices. The other thing that we're demanding is enact penalties for price gougers and a Workers and People Control Board. But there's a lot that can be done right in the state and in the city council. City council can pressure the state to enact its own emergency program for people. So there's a lot of issues going on. But I think what Ms. Van's saying is absolutely true, and it's absolutely true. People are being cut back. I think it's on the average, it's $83 per individual. So in some households, that amounts to $300+ that they're losing.
Absolutely.
It's no joke. I know in my household, lost over like $95. So it just varies,
but a considerable amount. That's a considerable.
But it's pitiful. It's pitiful, and when you take into consideration the increase in food prices, it's horrendous.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know what they say: unless we get out there and really fight this, it's not that they can't do anything; they can, but we have to make them do it. We have to make it an issue.
We have to show up. Yes.
I mean, I remember in Baltimore, we had a hunger march from Baltimore to Washington, D.C. I also remember when we demanded they release the surplus food. And it took a battle, but we finally got it released so that people could even get food.
Right.
From how they, anyhow. I won't get into all that, but really, it's important to be out there on.
And Miss Sharon, we can win. We can win. Absolutely. This is certainly tied into the unemployment issue. You know, poverty causes hunger. So it causes hunger. I'm going to go to Mr. Lee because I don't want to monopolize the time. I could go on and on and on and on, but Mr. Lee, we're going to go to you. What do you have to say about this? It's a crisis. It is, I think this is an epidemic. Go ahead.
Dr. Martin Luther King said that the most stark and tragic disparity is the disparity in health care. Absolutely. We are facing an unmitigated crisis of proportions unimagined. We cannot afford to make any excuses and stay home on Monday, the April the 3rd. In front of City Hall should be crowded all the way back to Central Avenue, all the way back to Broadway. In front of City Hall should be crowded because we are in an extreme crisis. This government has cut food stamps in order to feed Nazis in the Ukraine. I'm going to say it again. This government has cut food stamps to give money to Nazis, Stephen Bandera Nazis in Ukraine. See, this whole thing, Dr. King has said it once again, the bombs that explode in Ukraine explode right at home.
Wow.
This poverty is beyond anything we could ever imagine. It's just that our people can't continue to make excuses when we can't show up these things. We need to be there en masse, in masses that we scare the hell out of City Hall.
Right. But with intentionality, we need to be there. Yeah.
With intentionality, we need to be there. See, I've been told that I'm too rich to get food stamps because of how much I get in Social Security.
Wow.
Rent's going up like crazy in this town. And
not to mention the food prices.
Yeah, and then you have the food prices going up, and by the end of the month, everybody's poor, broke, and miserable.
Absolutely. I think that's by the 20th of the month for
No,
people who get food stamps, early on in the month, maybe the first or second or third of the month. And by the 15th or the 20th, there's no more food.
the
And
richest
so,
country in the world, a human being can't eat.
and
The
food
richest
is a
country in
human
the
right.
world.
Mm-hmm. Right.
People don't have health care.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a crime what's happening with women's rights to choose and trans rights to exist, and everybody else workers' rights. It's a criminal shame.
Yeah. So we
We
have a
have
lot going
fascism in
on.
this country. We
Yeah.
have fascism in this country.
Yeah. Yeah. We do. We
We have
do.
to, we have to be for real about this. We can no
Mhm.
longer put a nice smiley face on things. There
And
is
then,
fascism in this country trying to take over.
right. Right. And we have to understand, Mr. Lee, that we cannot allow the government. We can't. I'm going to read Mr. Walker's additional comment. We can't allow the government, whomever, to lull us to sleep. We have to let them know. I know what the ham sandwich you're trying to do. Trying to stop cursing. I know what you're trying to do. It's not going to work. We are. Mr. Walker said, we've got to prepare to fight together for justice because they're taking advantage of the less fortunate while their lives keep increasing. We, the people, have got to stand together in unity, put all differences aside, and fight for the future ahead of us. Mr. Walker, you get nothing but hand claps over here. Right fist up. Nothing but hand claps. Come on now. Come on through, Mr. Walker. We do. We do. Miss Sharon's clapping. Yeah, we all recognize that is such a powerful, powerful comment. I think if we allow ourselves to be lulled to sleep and we don't say anything, silence means that you agree. So I'm just going to put it out there. On the 3rd, like we're the People's Power Assembly, we're going to be out there without a doubt. If we have breath in our bodies, we're going to be out there fighting. We need everybody and who has a vested interest in their family. I have a huge vested interest in my family. There are some folks in my family who get food stamps. Now, I don't know, for some reason, I have a nephew who's applied for disability. So until he gets approved for disability, he is getting food stamps, but they have not been cut. And I don't understand that. I mean, I don't want them to say, hey, we got to cut your food stamps. But as of right now, they have not been cut. So I'm not sure how they're absolutely, doing this, this staunch regulation on some folks. And then over here, you got a couple of people who are not. I just know that these, Miss Sharon, go ahead.
Yeah, that may be because he might have not gotten under the COVID emergency funds.
Oh, okay.
So it's possible, depending on when he applied.
Right.
If he applied later, then it was just straight up.
You know what? And I can remember, I think in the winter time, like very, very cold winter, maybe. Yeah, he applied.
The only thing I can think of is that he applied. He never was receiving the emergency allotment that most people were getting.
Right. But how do you live on $12 worth of food stamps? How do you live on $14? But another nephew told me that. So they are taking away the food stamps and then they are giving people $25 cash. Now, I don't understand that either, because that's not going to do any good. That's not going to help anybody. That's what kind of quality is that going to add to a person's life when eggs are, $8, $9, So when I went to Walmart yesterday, I was checking the prices. Now the prices, Walmart is a big conglomerate. So I think Walmart can afford to sell their eggs for a cheaper price. Because I got 18 eggs for less than $4. So I think just because Walmart is this huge you know, even though Giant is too, and Giant is just expensive from the start. Giant, Safeway. Oh, and I saw Steven there a couple of weeks ago too. Yeah, at Giant, yeah. And also at Food Lion. You know, so we're going around and we're looking for different you know, markets, you know, to shop. You know, we're looking, you know, we're going to Aldi's, and we're going to that new one, Lido or whatever it is. I like DL, Lido. I think that's it. We're trying, we're absolutely, I remember, and then I'm gonna let you speak, Mr. Lee, again. I remember when my parents would go shopping, they would go to the A&P. My parents my parents would come back with all of these bags. You go to the store now, Miss Van, with $100, you're gonna come back with one or two bags with, yep, absolutely. Absolutely. So go ahead, Mr. Lee. Talk about these food prices, and you know,
No, the food prices high, but these food pantries can't nourish us either. These food pantries giving out extremely dangerous, outdated food.
right?
You know,
That's yeah,
and when I was out there living in Dundalk, we used to go out to North Point Road, out to some church out there, and they were giving away food, but it was like oodles of noodles, and giving you chicken from 2 and 3 months ago and stuff. This is just outrageous, the way people are being treated. Poor
right,
and working
right.
people are being treated like we are nothing but cattle to these rich capitalist pigs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
See, we need to highlight class. We need to let people understand that we are in a class war. The media, the news media, all those folks, and the corporations are all on one side, while we are all on our side, the
Right.
working class.
But we're
We
gonna support
have
each
to
other.
fight.
We are
We have to
going.
fight.
This is the fight of our lives, Mr. Lee. It is. You're absolutely correct. This is the fight of our
Fight of
lives.
our lives.
Yeah, we can't sit back and say, hey, oh, they're going to get it. They're going to get the premise. They're going to get it. It's a light bulb's going to come on. The light bulb is not going to come on. And today, you know, when we were in DC, Reverend Annie Chambers was speaking, and somebody from the audience yelled, talk about the revolution. And Reverend Annie said, this is the revolution. This is the revolution. And today I made a post and I said, a refusal to listen is not going to stop the revolution. We're
That's why
going
they
to
don't
be
want us woke.
right. Absolutely. That, and they don't. That's
They
why
don't
we're
want us
going to
woke.
be, yeah, we're going to be out there. Reverend Annie got a standing ovation because we're not going to stop. We're not going to stop. And if Reverend Annie, people, dear people, dear people, dear people, dear all people, if Reverend Annie, who's in her early 80s, can come out and stand up and fight, you know, come on, young people, you know, they're folks who are being affected. So come out on April the 3rd in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ms. Van.
I want to just so to add on to it, I have so much to say, but I want to say this because
No, go ahead.
I want to put this out here. So I received a letter from social services from telling me that I need to go to my doctor and get this form filled out. The form is like 3 pages long. So I take it to my doctor. He fills it out. I then bring it back. I went to social services today. I'm asking them, what is the nature of me getting this paper filled out? I read it, but I'm not understanding it. I then went there. So they said to me, because I am disabled, I need to go to the Disability Food Retribution behind Morgan to sign up for deliveries for food, because I will not be receiving no more than $91 in food stamps. So what they do, they add on to the rest of what I'm getting, but this food will be delivered to me. I went there to do my investigation, my own homework to see. When I got there today, it was so many elderly people there today. The line was backed up. So this is what the
It's hard.
doctors, social services is getting the doctors to fill out these forms for us to go there. It's right behind Morgan. It's a big building, like a school behind Morgan College. So I had to go there today.
Why did you have is that your neighborhood branch? Is that
well, they could have sent me to Essex. So it's only 4 they're saying. So it's Essex, it's Morgan, and it's another one out Towson somewhere, and then it's another one in Salisbury or something.
Wow.
And so I was so stressed out today that I almost fell to my knees to grade a cry. Like, what are we doing? And nobody wants to get up, and you don't want to come out, and you don't want to speak about, and you don't want to raise and lift your voices. But you want to tear up the city when the police kill somebody. You want to tear up the city when it's not a killing in Baltimore all over the place and nationwide. But you want to do rallying and burning up stuff. But we can't come out for a cause like this. This is a cause for us. Because what's going to happen because all these food stamp cuts, now Biden's going to cause the problem. Now businesses is going to get hurt. We forgetting about that. Because now you're going to have people going into these businesses stealing and taking and breaking to feed their families.
Well, let me tell you something. Yes, let me tell you something. If I was hungry and I didn't have any food to feed Aubrey or whatever, let me tell you something. I would steal something too. Sorry. I just would. I have to be honest. If there is no other way, there are people out here who literally have to steal to eat. You know,
produces crime.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
poverty produces crime.
Yeah, I said that. It's intertwined. So Dr. J asked again, she said some people do not know why food stamps are being cut. Food stamps are being cut because back when COVID initiated, the government, the powers to be, felt that, food stamp recipients should be getting an increased portion of food, like increase the amount. Let's give them, because folks were getting extra money on top of unemployment. So people got extra money on top of their initial amount of food stamps. So now the White House, everybody's saying, oh, COVID's over after May 11th. No additional funds, no rent programs, no eviction prevention, nothing after May 11th. So then I guess whoever is in charge of food stamps, maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure who those folks are, but they are cutting. They are saying now, let's do it now. And they did. They said it, I didn't believe it when they said it back in December, that in March, that food stamps would be cut, because I was like, they don't have the unmitigated gall to cut food stamps. But yes, in fact, they do, and they did. And we need to come out. Oh, so here's my nephew. He said, May is 2 months away. Why cut them now? Someone is stealing. So my nephew, he said that somebody is stealing. Yeah.
Yeah, the federal government on February 28th, they announced it. I mean, it was an emergency allotment program based on there were so many people who couldn't work during the earlier part of COVID.
Right.
But it just shows you the crisis was always there, and it's even worse now.
It is.
The inflation that in part was around COVID. And it was also this war that people have been talking about, $100 billion that was spent on the war is inflationary. And a lot of shortages are occurring around the world because of the war. Get into all those politics, but if they can spend $100 billion on a war that is unjust, then they can certainly spend that money on the people right here that are in desperate need of the assistance. I did want to say something that you said, Ms. Joyce. It's a couple discussions back about people shopping around. Well, what's difficult about that, which is why we've been raising about the food deserts,
right,
and the lack of actual supermarkets inside the city. Many people can't even get out to Walmart. There's no Walmart inside of Baltimore City. You have to go to Towson or Washington Boulevard or wherever, all around the state. But there's nothing inside the city. And when we first started this campaign, we realized that there were like food deserts, first of all, in Pigtown, where we held a picket line. Cheetah's been fighting in West Baltimore, in the Easterwood community, and And
Mhm.
actually, he's unearthed a lot more statistics about food deserts. And then, of course, Cherry Hill and
Right. All
the
they have is a
community
Dollar
that
Tree.
Reverend Chambers lives in, which is in East Baltimore, Oliver community. I mean, I don't want to go through all the names, but the point really is that how are people, especially seniors, but even people who don't have the resources that have cars, may have many young children, how are they going to go out to Walmart and shop, even if it's a tiny bit cheaper, and put those bags on the bus? So one of our demands is to end the food deserts, and we have a whole plan, a campaign to be able to, that can be realized. The city can do it if they put their minds into doing it.
That's
You know,
right.
it's them finding the wherewithal. It's not that the resources don't exist or that there aren't laws in the books that allow them to do this. But, you know, they ended it February 28th. They announced that. So it was actually March 1st that people, or March 2nd, something. I got the
Wow.
dates a little confused, but I know that February 28th, we held a protest because they were announcing that in the very beginning of March,
Right.
they were intending to do away with the emergency program.
Right. So
And
how do you
so,
give people that minuscule amount of time
right,
to get prepared for something like this? Like it's a major it's actually a disgrace.
yeah.
It's actually a disgrace that
I mean,
they're doing this.
food is terrible. I mean, it's one
Mhm.
thing if you're saying that the cost of yachts went up and, you know, fancy cars, something that none of us care about or can afford anyhow. But you're talking about
Absolutely.
food. Food is like basically you need it to
Yeah,
survive. Even
right.
if you're homeless, you need food. I mean, of course, you need a home too. And as Lee said, it's true. Rents have skyrocketed. And I know right now in group, people getting 100 a month increases in their rent.
Right,
There's
right.
just no way. And I think that they'll push people. The truth is, they'll push people as far as people are willing to take it.
Theft.
And then,
They're
of course,
willing.
people will explode.
Absolutely, Miss Sharon. They're willing to take that chance. And I am very serious, when I say if there was no other way,
Of
I
course,
would,
people,
yeah, I would, I'm sure all of us would likely take the chance and go into a store. And Miss Van saying, yes, me. And, like, just say, there's a young mother, 25
right,
years old, and,
right.
with 3 kids. How is this mother going to, and I haven't heard anything about these welfare to work programs. What's happening with all of that? Do we still have those programs? Go ahead, Miss Van, talk about that. We still have those?
About the work programs, they are still, well, social services are still doing the work programs because they want you to get out and go work. And so a lot of today, it was so crowded up there, the people that were going off because they're saying, you want us to go work, but you don't. It was something about the tokens, of giving them the tokens. They cut the tokens out. You have to get there the best way you can now, from my understanding today of hearing that. But I was hearing a lot of the young ladies saying, you want us to go work, but we don't have money to get to these jobs. And so
Right,
now what they're saying, if you don't, you have to go to 1810 Guilford Avenue for transportation cards, and you have to qualify for the transportation for them. And you have to pay $32 for a pass. I say, what is 1810? I'm Googling and looking it up. That's an old social service building. I didn't even know they still exist.
Guilford
1800
Avenue.
or something.
I'm
1800
right.
something, 1700 or something like that. They were saying 1710 or something. And so they were talking about that. I was going to say that, and no longer tokens for transport for bus rides anymore. It's no more tokens at all.
Social
The other thing is,
service, yeah, social service needs to be giving Uber rides. If you want me to go and find a job, likely, if I'm not familiar, I'm not going to know where to go. And a lot of these jobs are in Towson, Catonsville, Timonium. How am I going to get there? How, like, this world is going to hell in a handbasket.
Right.
Go ahead, Miss Sharon.
Yeah, it's
how
a
about
ripoff. It's a ripoff because
You
companies are
make
getting
enough
tax
money.
breaks to
Yes.
hire like low wage jobs, and then people get the low wages instead of the benefits. It's like slave labor actually, and there's been a lot documented about that. So it's
Right.
kind of ludicrous. I mean, in reality, we don't have aid to families with dependent children anymore. We've got workfare, and it's not workfare, it's work unfairness.
Absolutely.
And, it's like this fan was saying, it's a joke. People can't get to these low paying jobs. And then these low paying jobs, these big companies get tax breaks.
And then
and
they fire the people, and then they fire the employees.
Right. So it's kind of a vicious cycle, because you're right. They're really like pitting other workers against other poor workers. And it's ludicrous. I mean,
Union
we live in
busted.
supposedly the richest capitalist country in the world, supposedly, but not for the people. And, they could provide these services.
Union busted.
It's ridiculous. Anyhow, I could go on and on too. It's very, it makes you very angry.
It does. It does make you angry. Mr. Lee, I'm going to come back to you, but here's my nephew saying, I'm damn near homeless. I sleep in the basement. If it was not for God and my family, I would be homeless. It's either I rent or eat. This is crazy. Now, I can tell you he's not damn near homeless, but anyway, his parents have a beautiful home in Catonsville, might I say. And, he spent some time in prison, and a lot of time, and he came home, and, he got a nice job, very nice paying job. And he went to a CDL class, and he got his CDLs on the first try when he took the test. So he's doing very well. But families have to stick together.
Yeah, I know. I hear you, but I'm going to say this, not to get her to. It's very hard for young people nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
Because people should be able to get their own apartments.
Right.
They shouldn't have to be living
in the
back to back with relatives. I mean, that's another thing. Or people doing couch surfing.
We're being forced to, Miss Sharon. We're being forced to. We have a combined home, even in the new house. My nephew, whom I consider a son, he lives with us. And so that's just, it's par for the course today. We have to, a lot of times I would wonder, why my big brothers weren't living on their own. The same back then, the same now. We have to absolutely support each other, or we will be homeless in the street, or we will be. Go ahead, Mr. Lee. Go ahead.
I was homeless once. And let me tell you one thing I did when I was homeless. Whenever I seen a politician campaigning for anything, I would say to them, what are you going to do about the homeless? That politician would get up and run. He would get up and run.
My goodness.
He would run away from when I asked the question, what are you going to do about the homeless? I approached Shannon Sneed one time about that. And she just said, build more shelters. I said, no, we need homes. We need shelters,
Right.
I was working in the federal government in Washington, D.C., $15 an hour. And the rents there were just way too outrageous for anybody to even consider even trying to afford. Right. Even a room was $1,500 a month.
Oh my goodness!
Even a room was $1,500 a month.
So, Mr. Lee, were you homeless in Baltimore or DC?
Baltimore and DC. Even a room now can be $1,500 a month. This capital society is getting way, way ridiculous, out of control, and I just see another Baltimore rebellion coming up in the way of the Freddie Gray rebellion. It's going to come up again because people. People are just so fed up now.
If that's what we have to do, come on with it. If that's what we have to do, let's go. Let's go. I know Miss Sharon tells me all the time.
Yeah, that's okay.
I can't get arrested. Me or Steven, I have a very colorful past, and Miss Sharon doesn't want me to get arrested. But come on with it. Come on with it. We got to.
I didn't say that. We can all get arrested. I'm willing.
I know that's right.
Arrested too.
Huh?
I'm getting arrested too.
Exactly. They can't. That was a long, long time ago, Miss Sharon. So they better leave me. Yeah, they better leave me alone. Yeah. Sometimes it's gonna. I believe that it's gonna come to that. It's gonna come to because Miss Van, said we should do it like Martin Luther King in the Martin Luther King era. And that calls for us. Hey, we got to get. They got to lock a lot of us up. They can't keep us. Absolutely. What are they going to do? They can't keep us. We just.
Especially us older people. I'm serious.
Right.
I know Reverend Chambers. Then we go to do a civil disobedience. they're going to
Yeah.
have to take that 5,000-pound chair.
That's
with them.
exactly right. Yeah. I
So,
remember one time you said they decided not to.
mhm.
They decided not to. I mean, I just think sometimes it has to get to the point of civil disobedience. Who is going to listen? You know what? But they better listen. They better listen and stop the bull crap. Stop the bull crap. Stop putting families in jeopardy. You know, the reason why we have to like live with each other and shop, you know, and like bargain shop and do this and do that is because lots of times, you know, we have people in our families who aren't making enough. So then we live together, we share food, we share living arrangements. But if we don't want to do that, like Ms. Sharon said, we shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
We
I
shouldn't
mean,
have.
Homelessness makes profits. Homelessness makes profits.
Oh, true, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Just like we said, it's all intertwined. It's all intertwined. Like this poverty, it is going to cause people to say, hey, you know, you took my food stamps. So I'm going to go in Giant. I'm going to go in Food Depot. I'm going to steal, you know, and then you're going to be saying, oh, this market has to be closed. Too many theft. You know, it's like too much theft, you know. Go ahead, Ms. Sharon. What were you going to say?
oh, no, I was just saying, well, I was making a point that, you know, it's certainly about people, the poorest of poor, but, you know, a lot of workers, whether you have a union or you don't, it is really a, what do you call it, a wage decrease, because inflation means that your wages have been lowered. And you
Right.
can see the people, and they're not putting a lot of this on TV right now. And it's different issues, but in Britain, they had an entire strike of all the workers there, all the public service workers for 2 days. And right now, France is like, you know, workers been going out for weeks around the pensions being, you know, uh, increased in terms of how old you are before you collect them. And so they've been out in strike, and huge, actually, they've been setting fires and, you know, they've been fighting their government tooth and nail because the inflation has impacted Europe even worse than here because they cut off, you know, the sanctions against Russia have like really hurt everybody in that region. And the
Yes.
war has, you know, upped the inflation. So it's a crisis there, even bigger here. But, you know, what I'm trying to say is simply that everybody, no matter who you are, even if you consider yourself better off, even if you've got a decent job, this inflation is actually such a wage cut. And can you imagine $15, which was considered, you know, a quote livable wage, is no longer a
No
livable
longer.
wage.
No
And so
longer.
with inflation on this level, and it's impacting mostly basic necessities, which we've already said over and over again.
True.
That's really, so it's impacting workers. It's not impacting the wealthy. The
Right.
wealthy aren't, you know, they may, you know, I guess they cut back from 2 yachts to 1 yacht. I don't really know, but I know who's hurting,
Right.
and
Right.
it's everybody.
We
And it's
all
why
are.
I
We
think one
all
of the callers already said it, but it's why we have to really have unity as much as possible with everybody right now.
That's
Get in
exactly.
touch with the unions. And then one last thing, really, April the 3rd is not the end. This is a campaign. And we
Right.
can expect on one effort that we're going to win.
Right.
It's going to
Right.
take a long, protracted struggle.
So
And you're right, it may include civil disobedience,
absolutely. That's right.
but we'll figure that out and, you know, do everything possible to win what we need and our demands. So
That's right.
it's
Come
definitely
on
going to
now.
be.
We won against Governor Hogan. Y'all remember that?
Yeah, we did. We did fight and
Yeah,
win.
he had to take that L. We won, and we can do it
Mhm.
again. We have about 3 minutes. We can definitely do it again. Mr. Lee, you want to make your final comment, and then Ms. Fan?
The fact of the matter is, we are in a war for our very lives. We are in a war for our very lives. This is no time to be occupied with other foolish thoughts and bread and circus mindset. We have got to be serious about confronting this capitalist system.
That's right.
We are in a serious crisis. This inflation is nothing but greed.
Mhm.
Greed creates this inflation. It's
Right.
not an emergency or accident. It is the bourgeoisie's greed that causes all the suffering.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. Go ahead, Miss Van. Don't shrink back, folks. Don't shrink back. Go ahead, Miss Van. Final comment. Got about 2 minutes.
My mic was muted. I'm sorry. So I just want to put this out there. If in fact that we go to prison, let me just grab all my medication because I'm gonna need it. We go to prison. That's how hard I'm gonna be. That's how hard I'm gonna be. That's how hard I'm gonna be out there, boots on the ground. I'm trying to tell you, I need to eat.
Right.
I need to eat down. I done went to the gym and came down 63 pounds, y'all. Whoop whoop. But I still gotta eat. I don't care. I gotta eat. But listen.
Exactly.
Listen, me and Brother Annie will be side by side, handcuffed to the medication, to the chair. I'm going to eat. Do you understand that? I'm going to eat. Listen, I love my comrades. We're going to fight to the end. We are 10 toes down. We are a family, and we are pushers, and we will not stop.
We will
at
not.
all.
Don't shrink back, folks. Miss Sharon, final comment. We got about 1 minute.
See us April the 3rd, 5 p.m. at City Hall, 100 Holiday Street. It's my only comment.
Absolutely. People's Power Assembly, y'all. Thanks for coming out. Good night, everybody. Good night.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Right fist up.
Just wanted to let you know that the host of this show appreciates the time that you've spent with them. Now, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel so you can keep up with everything that we're doing. And most of all, thank you for tuning in to What Up Baltimore online radio, where the people have the power.